And let's go ahead and
This meeting
start.
is being recorded.
My name is Gail Schnee, and I'm the Business Support Coordinator for the San Juan County Economic Development Council. And thanks for coming to our EDC Business Lab. And today we're covering commercial real estate financing. And the workshop will be recorded, and we're privileged to have Tim Northrop, the SVP Commercial Banking Officer for Heritage Bank. So I'd like to turn this over to Tim.
Thank you, Gail. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and present today. Can you see my agenda now on screen?
Yes, you can.
Yes, good. Yep. So what I want to do today really is cover the very basics of financing commercial real estate, and specifically owner-occupied commercial real estate. This is a common type of loan that banks do. We do an awful lot of it ourselves. It's somewhat unique compared to, say, something like property that's all income property with rental properties in it, or a multi-family residential property. Those are all different. So today it's really just owner-occupied commercial real estate. Fundamental definition of owner-occupied is that it must be at least 51% occupied by the operating company that's in the building. So we do have owner-occupied loans where some of the building is leased out, but in order to qualify for owner-occupied and be classified as owner-occupied, it has to be at least 51% owner-occupied. I put on the agenda here the kind of 5 basic things I want to cover here: conventional financing and loan structure, small business administration 504 loans, which is a common program that's used throughout our industry, and then the SSCBI loan program and the HBCDE loan program, the other 2 bullet points. So those are loans that are unique to Heritage Bank, and I just thought it'd be interesting to share that with your group. Okay. So let me get started. I'm going to switch the screens here to this is for the SBA 504 loan program, and it's got a nice. Tell me when you can see my screen, okay, Gail?
Not yet. There it is. Okay, we got it.
Okay. Okay. So if you start and you just look down on this grid, there's a column there for conventional financing. A standard industry matrix for this type of financing requires a 25% down payment. And then we put some basic numbers there just based on a $1 million financing project. So if it's $1 million, $250,000 down payment is often very challenging for borrowers. Sometimes it prohibits them from buying, and it doesn't mean it's not a good loan. It's just really hard to get over that hurdle sometimes. So the other programs that I'm going to talk about today really are to help reduce the down payment amount that will allow a project to go forward and to be financed. So the 504 loan, this is very common. It's done throughout the industry. Our bank was actually the #1 504 lender in the state last year for Washington State, but many other banks do this. The credit unions do it. Savvy Bank does it. Really, pretty much any bank that you're familiar with would do this type of lending typically. What this allows you to do, though, is to do a 10% down payment. And then what happens, the bank that's initiating the loan keeps 50% of that loan on their books, and then the SBA provides a second loan behind the bank at 40%. And it often makes it very, very attractive for a new business or someone that just doesn't have that big of a down payment. On the right here, you can see some of the other sort of attractiveness, 25-year maturity and amortization. You can fix the rates for 25 years on that debenture. That was very popular when rates were, quite low here a few years back. Minimum loan fees, and then, you have that loan, on the books for 25 years. So pretty nice option. In this example, it's showing a 10% down payment. That's pretty standard when using the program. If it's a special use property, then it can go up to 15%. But again, that sometimes makes the difference of being able to do a loan or not. So, okay. The next program I wanted to show you, this is a new program that Heritage Bank is participating in, really just started in the last year. Let me get my share screen up for this. Okay, tell me when you can see that okay, Gail?
It's getting there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Not seeing it yet. I think it just needs to be slid over a little bit. There we go. Got it. Perfect.
Okay, how's that? Does that look okay?
Looks great.
Okay. So this is kind of an interesting loan. We actually work with the Washington State Department of Commerce in this program. And last year, Heritage Bank was awarded the funding to do this type of lending. We're the only bank in the state that received it, so it's pretty unique to Heritage Bank. And what's interesting about this project is the borrower can come into the deal with 16% down. So versus at 25%, it gets it down to 16%. Then 9% of the funding actually comes through this initiative with the Washington State Department of Commerce. So that's a 9% loan. In this example, you can see it there at $180,000. This is on a $2 million loan, and with some construction involved in it. But what's nice about that 9% loan, it's a fixed rate of 1% for 10 years. And then at the end of the 10-year mark, it's fully forgiven. Obviously, the property has to stay being used as it was at the beginning of the program. You know, if it's sold prior to the 10-year mark, then it wouldn't be forgivable. But this has been very popular. We're getting lots of interest in doing these types of loans. We have quite a bit of funding to be able to do a pretty significant portion. But this is could be really attractive for, again, someone that doesn't have quite the amount of money they need for a conventional loan. If they know their long-term plan is to be in that building, and then get that amount forgiven after 10 years, it's a pretty attractive type of loan product. There's a few other matrix here that we've listed. They're kind of important to it, but at this point, we can do this really anywhere. It's not in a specified census tract or anything like that. So,
Tim, do they have to have a Heritage account in order to apply for this?
That's an excellent question, and something that comes up in the lending process. We don't require an initial account to be opened in order to do a loan for any borrower. But like most banks, we're really not a transaction lender. We want the relationship in the bank. So we would require some level of deposit activity along with this property. Ideally, we would be able to bank the operating company, obviously have the loan and collect the loan payments or rent payments from the operating company and be able to work with them. But we're a relationship bank. We want, more of the relationship, not just one transaction. But I guess to answer your question, we wouldn't require it up front to even apply for the loan.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Yeah. And just in terms of funding, we have enough funding in this program to do about $350 million in loans. So it's going to last. We're projecting at least a year or two, and be quite nice for a lot of lenders that get into the program and use it. Okay.
Sounds good. That's an excellent program.
Yeah. Let me go to the next one. If this document opens, bear with me here a second. Still loading on my end, but we should be there in a second.
Yeah, I don't see it yet either, so it's just. There we go. Okay, we're good.
Okay, good. So this also is relatively new for our bank. We've had this in process now for a couple of years, but Heritage Bank created a separate sub-entity called Heritage Bank Community Development Entity. And in these loans, we funded this entity, and what's really interesting about it is it's completely designed for areas that need economic improvement. There's designated census tracts where properties have to be located, and I'll kind of show you here in a minute a map of the San Juan Islands. It's somewhat limited where in the San Juans it could be used, but there are other areas really across across the whole state where it can be used. But what's interesting about this program is for projects where a building is being purchased or built, but at least 25% of the funding in the loan has to be for building improvements. So it's a way to generate economic, activity and to improve, buildings or businesses in communities to help grow. And it's a 7-year. The first 7 years is an interest-only note at a below-market rate. And what's interesting about that is it gives someone that makes this kind of a huge investment, it gives them plenty of time to get their operating company up and going and grow before they have to start making those bigger monthly P&I payments. This too has been very popular. We've done quite a few loans in this entity already, but looking for more as well. I mentioned in this program that the areas where it can be used is somewhat limited, and I did create a map here, so let me get this open, kind of show you where in the San Juan Islands where you could actually do this program, at least at this point in time. Open for you. This one's not open. Let's see if it's, there we go. Tell me when you can see that, okay.
Nope, I can't. It's not there.
There
it is. Got it. We've got it. Perfect.
Yeah. So you can see there's really no areas on San Juan Island itself where you could use it, but much of Orcas Island would be eligible. Some of the other smaller islands around Orcas Island are eligible. Up in the right-hand corner, you can see Bellingham, where I'm located. There's quite a bit of areas, in and around Bellingham where it's eligible. So there's a lot of areas where this program can be used. If people have property, that's not on San Juan Island, but I just thought it was interesting. I wanted to show you guys today.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Awesome. There's a few opportunities there.
Yeah, so these are the basic ones I wanted to show you. Certainly have time for questions, Mark, if you have any. And I go back to my agenda here. So you has my contact information right there. That should pop up back up in a second.
Yep, we got it. Perfect. Mark, did you have any questions?
Might be muted still.
Yeah, I think you're still muted, Mark, if you're trying to. Well, I would like to mention to those of you that are watching the recording that Tim said that you can contact him if you have any questions about this presentation or need additional information, and his contact information is on this page. I guess, let's see, let me check the chat. Nope. Well, I guess, is there anything else, Tim, that you want to cover, or?
I think that's it for me. Happy to take questions though. Somebody wants to call me or email me anytime, I'll respond to you very quickly on them.
That would be wonderful. We really appreciate your time. This is a great presentation. It's a great resource. So we appreciate that. And if there isn't anything else, we really finished early, but it is a great presentation. Mark, was there anything
Oh,
else
thank
for
you.
you? All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Tim, and I hope we can stay in touch. And again, for those of you watching the recording, please feel free to contact Tim and he can help you with any questions. And thank you very much, Tim, for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.